So in this video, we're going to talk about changes to demand or shifting the demand curve. And the first shifter that we'll look at is a change in consumer income. So changes in consumer incomes can affect demand, can shift demand. And it really depends on the type of good that we're looking at. So here we've got two types of goods. We have normal goods and inferior goods. Normal goods you want to think of are items such as steak, sushi, shrimp. These are items that as you make more money or as your incomes go up, you're going to buy more of. And it doesn't just have to be food. It could be anything else as well. It could be jewelry. It could be anything along those lines. So anything that as your income goes up, you're going to buy more of would be a normal good. So as your income goes up, the demand for a normal good will go up as well. Okay, there's a positive correlation here. Incomes go up, demand for normal goods are going to go up as well. Or your income goes down, your demand for normal goods are going to go down as well. Okay, so write that down. Inferior goods are just the opposite. So some examples, think about ramen noodles. Maybe ramen noodles, bologna are good examples of inferior goods. As you earn more money, typically you buy less of those goods, right? As you earn less money, you buy more of those goods. So income goes up, your demand for inferior goods are going to go down, okay? Income goes up, demand for inferior goods are going to go down, all right? There's a kind of an inverse relationship there. Your income goes down, all right? What happens? Well, if your income goes down, your demand for inferior goods are going to go up. You're going to demand more, all right? So again, when we say demand more, demand's going to shift to the right. Demand less, demand's going to shift to the left. So an increase, demand's shifting to the right or in a rightward direction. A decrease, demand shifting to the left in the leftward direction. Okay, so again, normal goods, income goes up, demand for normal goods goes up. Inferior goods, income goes up, demand for inferior goods is going to go down. Number two, number of buyers, right? The more number of buyers there are, the more, or as consumers increases, demand will also increase. Think about pharmaceuticals. As the baby boomer generation ages and moves into kind of their senior years, demand for pharmaceuticals increases because now there's more consumers demanding pharmaceuticals. So demand would increase, okay? Another way you can think of this, think about college classes, or think about restaurants in college towns, such as Gainesville, Florida, right? You think about the demand for pizza, let's say during the fall and spring compared to the summer. Well, which one is going to where are you going to see higher demand for pizza? Probably in the fall and spring. Why? There's more students in town than there are in the summer. This is another reason why there are more class offerings during the fall and spring than there are the summer. There's more demand for classes in the spring and fall and spring than there is in the summer. Now that's changing a little bit, but by and large, that's the case. Again, the number of buyers, the more buyers you have, the more consumers you have, demand's going to go up. The less consumers you have, the fewer buyers you have, demand's going to go down. Okay. Number three, a change in the price of a related good. So changes in prices of related goods can affect demand, okay? So different types of categories we have substitutes and we have complements. And you see examples here on the slides. Substitute goods are those goods that are related in that if you can interchange them or substitute one for another. Think about beer, liquor, coffee, tea, chicken, beef, Netflix, and the movies are all interchangeable, right? You can replace one with the other, right? Those are substitute goods. Complements are goods that you consume together, right? Think about milk, cereal, peanut butter and jelly, coffee and pastries, shrimp and cocktail sauce, chips and salsa are goods that you consume together. They would be complementary goods. They complement each other, okay? So how does that affect demand? Well, let's say the price of chicken goes up, all right? What effect is that going to have on beef? Well, if chicken's more expensive, right? You're going to buy less chicken, right? What are you going to substitute it with? Beef, right? So the demand for beef is going to go up. All right, so price of chicken goes up, demand for beef is going to go up. Now, let's use a different example. All right, let's say we're looking at Coke and Pepsi, which are substitutes. The price of Coke goes down. All right, Coke is now cheaper to purchase Coke. It's cheaper to purchase Coke. All right, we're in turn, now that Coke's cheaper, are going to demand less Pepsi. So demand for Pepsi is going to go down. All right, so the price of a substitute goes down, the demand for its related good is also going to go down. Price of a good goes up, its related substitute demand is going to go up as well. Complements is a little bit different. All right, let's use peanut butter and jelly. The price of peanut butter goes up. All right, what's going to happen to our demand for jelly? Okay, what's going to happen to our demand for jelly? Well, if peanut butter goes up, typically we use peanut butter to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. We're going to make less peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because peanut butter is higher. So our demand for jelly is going to go down. So again, price of our complement good goes up, demand for our other good is going to go down. All right, so our demand for jelly is going to go down. Now, price of peanut butter goes down, let's say. Okay, now it's cheaper to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. We're not going to demand more jelly. Okay, so we have an inverse relationship. The price of a complement goes up or down. All right, let's say the price of our complement goes up, demand for our other complement goods is going to go down. If the price of our complement goes down, the demand for other complement goods is going to go up. All right, so it's kind of an inverse relationship there as well. So here, Chick-fil-A, price of Chick-fil-A goes up, okay, or goes up, demand for Popeyes is going to go up as well. Okay, again, two substitute goods. Again, complements consumed together, price of one goes up, the demand for the other is going to go down. Price of one goes down, the demand for the other is going to go up. So kind of an inverse relationship there for complementary goods. Number four, a change in expectations. A change in expectations. All right, so let's say we have a change in a change in the future price of a good, or expect a change in price. If you expect the price in the future to go up, all right, what are you going to do today? Well, let's say, again, the example I always use here. Let's say that you expect the price of gasoline to go up this weekend. Are you going to fill up your car today? Or are you going to wait till this weekend to fill up? You're going to fill it up today, right? When it's cheaper. If you expect it to go up, you're going to fill it today. Demand today is going to go up. So here, if you expect price to go up in the future, demand today is going to go up. Let's say that the opposite here, the opposite case. Let's say that you expect maybe you're looking at a new gator shirt or a new some new clothing, and the store that you usually buy your clothing is having a huge store-wide 50% off sale next over on the weekend. What are you going to do? Are you going to buy today at full price, or are you going to wait and buy it when the sale goes on? Probably going to wait and buy it, right? Right. So if you expect the price in the future to go down, demand today is going to go down as well. Okay. The same relationship is with income. All right. Expect a change in income. If you expect to make more in the future, your demand today is going to go up. So again, you expect income to go up, your demand today is going to go up as well. If you expect to maybe have a pay cut or maybe lose some income in the future, you expect your income to go down in the future, you're going to demand less today as well. All right, so both kind of have a direct or positive relationship there. And finally, number 5, a change in taste and preferences, right? So we see this a lot in the fashion industry as kind of trends go in and out. So do the taste and preferences, right? So again, you think about, fashion, right? You think about what was in style in the 80s or 90s compared to today, right? Demand fluctuates greatly with those tastes and preferences. Some other examples you want to think about as well. Think about the demand for generators, water, and plywood. The demand right now is probably relatively stable, right? But if but when it comes around hurricane season, especially if there's a storm whose track is heading straight for Florida, typically what happens to the demand for plywood, generators, water, storm-related items? It goes way up, right? Because consumers' tastes and preferences change to buying those items to prepare for the storm. But when the storm passes, the demand goes back to normal levels. Okay, so again, taste and preferences, what are consumers demanding? What are they preferring? All changes as we go, or as things change, as you see in this picture here for gasoline when a storm is on its way. Think about Florida Gator apparel. Think about a few years ago when the Gators were average, the demand for apparel is probably pretty good. But when the Gators are really good, right, and they're vying for a playoff spot in an SEC championship, berth and or win, and the demand for Gator apparel can go up. Okay, and it can go up, and again, can change as consumers' tastes and preferences change. Okay, so a few questions here. What would happen to the demand for beef if the price of chicken, a substitute good, increased? Okay, so go ahead and ask yourself this question. Pause the video if you need to answer this question. So if you're back and you have the answer, the correct answer here should be A, the demand for beef would increase. Again, we have a substitute good, the price of chicken goes up. What happens? Well, if chicken's more expensive, we're going to substitute it out for something better or cheaper. Demand for beef is going to increase. Okay, so A is the correct answer. What would happen to your demand for shrimp, a normal good, if your income decreased? All right, so take a moment, try to answer this. Pause the video if you need to. If you're back, all right, and you've got your answer, all right, again, here, the demand for shrimp, a normal good, what happens to it? If your income goes up, you want to buy more normal goods, right? So your demand for normal goods should go up, but here we're looking at income decreased. All right, so if your income goes down, what are you going to buy more of? You're going to buy more inferior goods, right? And less normal goods. So your demand for normal goods should go down. The correct answer here should be B. Okay. Finally, what would happen to the demand for milk if the current price of milk fell? All right, so take a moment, get your answer, pause the video if you need to. If you're back and you have your answer, the correct answer should be C. So some of you may be a little bit surprised and wondering why it's not A, or maybe even B. Well, here, look at the question. We're asking what's happening to the demand for milk when the current price falls. Remember, current price affects quantity demanded, not demand, right? So again, remember, this question I put in here for a reason. Make sure you know the difference between quantity demand and demand. A change in price affects quantity demanded. A change in demand affects demand, okay? All right, so last couple things we'll talk about here. The market demand curve is a horizontal sum of the individual demand curves, okay? So the market demand curve is just a summation of everyone's individual demand curve. So an example here, okay? We have a Mario and Luigi here with our market demand curve. What we can do is, let's assume that Luigi and Mario are the only consumers in the marketplace. We have Luigi's demand curve and we have Mario's demand curve. Okay. So we can add up these different quantities. Okay. So the way we do this is we just horizontally sum this across. So $120, the demand for Luigi and Mario are both zero, so the market demand is zero. For $100, we can see that the demand for Luigi is zero, but Mario demands 10 units, okay? So here, the market demand, Luigi plus Mario, gives you 10 units altogether at $100. That's your market demand. At $80, notice, Luigi demands 5 units, Mario demands 15 units. So at $80, our total market demand is 20, Luigi plus Mario. All right, we can do this for all these. All you do is you add up at each price point the quantity demanded for each individual to get a total market quantity demanded at each price. And that's how you calculate the market demand curve. All right, so in the next video, we're going to talk about the law of supply, talk about some shifters of supply. So hopefully you understand demand, hopefully it makes sense. If not, be sure to ask questions, email me questions. But in this next video, we're going to talk about the law of supply and really kind of do the same thing we did with demand, but with supply. So I'll see you in that next video.